What's up guys, it's Emon and I'm back again today with some more tips and tricks. Today I want to talk about how we can do a perfect bonus on the 5-star third special, and hopefully after today's video you'll be able to hit that perfect bonus damage with maybe 90, maybe up to even 100% accuracy if you're lucky. But before we get into the game itself, let's real quick talk about reaction times, because that's all this is. It takes about 1/10 of a second for the average human eye to communicate what it sees to the brain, and then the brain takes another 1/4 of a second to communicate that to, say, our hands to maybe press a button, for example. So that is over 1/3 of a second of just processing. And so we're going to look at if that actually affects us in this, and if we need to be thinking about that, because I think a lot of you might already be thinking about that. Let's look at the entire duration now of this special here, the timing part of the special. You might be wondering, does the duration or the speed of that special change based on the strength of your champion or the strength of the opponent? And the answer to that is no. I went through dozens of fights and I tried low-level opponents and high-level champs on my team. I tried the other way around. I tried everything in between. And what I found was that the duration and speed of that timing section of the special was exactly the same for any kind of 5-star. So the sweet spot was always at exactly 1/2 of a second. And so it probably shouldn't surprise you that the entire duration of that timing portion is exactly 1 second long. Now that we understand what it is that we're up against here, let's go back to what we were talking about, the whole 1/3 of a second for our brains to react and all that. It turns out that doesn't really even matter, because our brains are going to compensate for this lack of speed in reaction. So a lot of us, what we do to start out with is we say, okay, this moves so fast, and since I can't react fast enough, I need to preempt that by pressing it when it gets to before a certain point. And what I think is that we really don't need to worry about that whatsoever, because the average human brain is actually going to compensate for that already, because this is a continuously moving target. So our brains can predict where it's going to be and when. So my first tip here is don't overthink it. And it's a little bit ironic that I'm overthinking this and I'm telling you not to overthink it, but just take a deep breath and go with your gut. Alright, so let's slow it down on a perfect bonus, and let's look at a few of the minor details that are going to help you hit that right in the middle every time, right in the sweet spot. Okay? One of the mistakes that I see a lot of people making is that they'll follow this moving target, and they want to try to, they're actually going to follow it with their eyes all the way into the middle. And when it hits the exact middle, that's when they want to tap. But I think the best way to predict where that moving target is going to be is to not follow the target. What you want to do is keep your eyes on the prize, and that's the little sweet spot right there where the first line is for that perfect green section. So really what you want to do is focus on that first line and let your peripheral vision take over, and you're going to see the movement of that line approaching, and as soon as it hits the first line, or as soon as you perceive it hitting that first line, that's when you're gonna tap it. So number one, and most importantly, don't try to follow that moving target. And number two, keep your eyes on the prize, right there in the center, the very first notch for the sweet spot. Once you perceive that bar has moved up and hit that first line, that's when you want to tap the screen. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So just remember that practice makes perfect, and now that you're armed with the knowledge that that entire duration is 1 full second and the sweet spot is exactly 1/2 a second, now you should be able to go through all of your practice rounds and just kind of get that muscle memory of half a second, half a second, half a second every time. And using the visual cues in your peripheral and that sweet spot, I think you'll be able to hit that perfect bonus damage every single time. So good luck, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video, leave a comment, tell me what you liked and what you didn't like, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys, bye.